Hi, this is Susan Cassidy. I'm the class librarian for ELIC 140. I created a research guide for your course, and I'm going to show you around the guide so that it can be more helpful to you. Here we are on the home page, and there's an introduction video I recorded, and it's sort of a table of contents to this guide. But down at the bottom of the home page is lots of different ways that you can get in touch with me and get help individually with your work. You can email me, you can chat with me during these hours down here. These are the hours that I'm actually on the chat service. You can schedule an appointment with me by clicking on this link here, and it'll take you to my appointment page. You can select an appointment that works for you, click continue, and then make the appointment. It's very simple. If my appointment schedule doesn't work with your schedule, however, you can also make an appointment with a different librarian. If you click here on the Ask a Librarian link, it takes you to the library's Ask a Librarian page with another Schedule an Appointment link. And in this case, if you, this isn't scrolling very well for me, choose not just me, but no preference, any librarian, you'll get a schedule of appointments all day long and into the evening that you can find something that will work for you. The last thing I wanted to show you on this page is my open office hours via Zoom. And the appointments are via Zoom too, of course. But these are, you don't need to make an appointment. These are drop-in hours. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays during these times, if you just click on one of these links, it'll take you straight into a Zoom room where I am waiting to sit there and talk to you and help you with your research. So that's the main message I wanted you to get from that part, was that I can help you individually with your assignments. But what if you want to work on your own or get started on your own? There's all kinds of information here that's going to help you. This first link here, identifying forms of oppression, is kind of the first part you're going to be doing with this course. And I recommend that for background reading on any kind of topic, oppression or anything else, you use our Gale eBooks, which is a database that we have here at the library. This video shows you how to use the Gale databases, how to find them, get into them, how to use them, and it also shows you how to use our EBSCOhost database, which is not so much background reading, but more in-depth reading. Let me give you a quick example of what happens when you click on a database. You get taken to this page where you have to sign in with your student ID number without the W, to show that you're an MJC student, and then you put in your 6-digit birth date, and once you click submit, the actual database will appear, and in this case you use here in the search box, you put in the search terms for the topic you're trying to find articles on, click search, and a list of articles will appear. Going back to our guide, there's other databases here that are going to be useful for you, and so these are the links straight to the databases. We also have links here to our book catalog, and for example, if you can type in a title of a book, select Library Catalog, click Search, and it will take you to our library catalog, which in this case, I'm looking for a book called Refuge Beyond Reach. Here's the book itself. It says we have it online as an ebook. And when you get to this page, to actually view the book, you click here on this link and it opens up the book for you. So that's what this is for. And also I have a video here that shows you in more detail how to find ebooks in the library catalog. And then the last part of this page gives you sample topics for this first unit in your course. I've picked different possibilities, types of oppression. For example, the Bracero program, for each one, I give you the name of the topic, some search terms that you could use in our databases or on the internet, and direct links to some articles that would be a good place to get started and learn about this topic. Some of these articles are from our databases, some of them are from the internet. I tell you in each place where I got them. So this is kind of an introduction to research, give you an idea of different topics, how you would take a topic and turn it into search terms, and some good articles to get you started. You don't have to pick these subjects or these topics, but these are good ideas that you could explore and get an idea of what a good source is and the kinds of things that are available out there for you. Our next link up here is more help in picking a topic. Brainstorm topics with these films takes you to a page where there's a film here that we have access to, Misrepresentation, and you can log in and watch it right there. These are trailers for other films. If you have a Netflix subscription or some other way of obtaining streaming films, these look like films that might be helpful for you if you're interested in colorism or sex trafficking. This one is about mass incarceration, 13th. And finally, down at the bottom, I have a link to the library streaming film database, Films on Demand, where you can find short clips and longer films. You search it just like any database you put in your topic, and then you find the films. So that's a nice resource as well. On the next page, I go into the bystander effect, which is the next unit you do after identifying forms of oppression. And for this, I have lots of search terms. Again, you would use these in our databases or on the internet. See some search terms that might help you. I have a link to the Gale ebooks, again, our good source for background reading. And then these are actual articles straight from the Gale ebooks that help you define the bystander effect, bystander apathy, bystanders in general. And then I have quite a few articles that I got from newspapers about actual events with bystanders where they intervened or did not intervene. And this might give you these articles, you can glance through them. Sometimes you're going to need evidence for what happened when a bystander intervened or didn't intervene. And you can use these as a source for your paper. On the next page, we talk about evaluating your sources. When you're using the internet, an article you found in a newspaper, an article you found on another website, you need to evaluate your sources to make sure that they're a good source. So this is a basic overview of the categories that we use to evaluate a source. But if you click on this image, it'll take you to a whole tutorial we have on each of the different elements in evaluating a source. And it gives you more details on how you determine, in this case, the currency of a source, some tips on where to find the information you're going to need to evaluate the source and to evaluate the currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose of your source. So it would really be a good idea to take the time to go through this and really understand well how to evaluate a source so that when you do put in the work and use a source for your paper, you know it's a good source. Okay, back to our next item, solutions for oppression, which is the next unit after that. I have some overview articles on the different types of ways of dealing with oppression, either power or persuasion. And then I have a lot of current movements about trying to deal with oppression. For example, Black Lives Matter, a movement in response to police brutality. I give you an overview article here, a link to the Black Lives Matter website, and a couple of articles that really discuss this movement in more depth. And I've done that for many other current movements in response to repression. You don't have to use these, but these are suggestions, and if you want to, it's a good start with background reading and more evidence. At the bottom of all of these current movements, I have information on some past movements. So this is a good place to get started on thinking about different ways people have tried to solve oppression and some topics that you might want to use. Finally, this tab, Armed Resistance versus Nonviolent Resistance, is the next unit after that. Another link to the Gale ebooks, because you can look up any article in there, any topic in there for background research. And here are examples from the Gale ebooks of background information on rioting or nonviolent resistance, lots of different good topics there. Then I have key search terms if you're searching nonviolence, or if you're searching people associated with nonviolence, or if you're searching violent protest, or people or groups associated with violent protests, some samples of the kinds of search terms you might want to use. Again, I have links to specialized databases, our library databases that you can use to find more in-depth information on your topics. I have links to several books that we have in our catalog that deal with this topic, and you just click right here and it'll take you to the library's catalog and you can read the book. And then I have some sample articles. These are articles on violent or armed resistance. And these down here are articles on nonviolent resistance. And there's a film there too, but generally lots of articles on that. And then again, at the bottom, I have some sample topics that I've gone into with a little more depth. For the protests in Hong Kong, for example, several articles that have to do with that, or Afghanistan or Iran. So these are just some different movements that have dealt with violence and nonviolence, and as an idea that you could research these or see how somebody would research them. Finally, I have a tab here on getting help with MLA. This link takes you to a page that shows you exactly how to format your paper and how to cite your sources. This is a link to a guide that gives you a lot more detail on how to do research, from planning it to evaluating your sources to avoiding plagiarism. This is a really good guide for just kind of a general overview of how to do research. And then our Ask a Librarian page here, where you can get more help from any of the librarians. So I hope you found this guide useful and that you will use it, and I hope you will contact me individually for help with your research by using all these methods down here to get a hold of me. I really look forward to working with you this term.